Sometimes, lonely and maladjusted children tend to invent imaginary friends, or perhaps malevolent spirits take advantage of their loneliness to disturb them with dark thoughts and visions. Whatever the case may be for Raul, at just 10 years old, he claimed to have an invisible friend who played hide and seek with him. Before I continue recounting this situation, I must tell you that Raul lives with his mother and his little sister, who is 6 years old. Unfortunately, as is almost becoming normal, the parents are no longer with their families. Returning to Raul and his friend, at first, it was something fun. Raul would hear a little voice inviting him to hide before the count reached 10. This whisper would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the end of the count, Raul was supposed to be hidden, and then all he could see was a small shadow wandering, searching for him. Raul didn't tell his mother or sister about this friend. It was his secret. However, as time went on, things started to change. Raul began feeling a malevolent presence. He no longer wanted to play with his friend. When he heard the count, he wouldn't run to hide and would say that he didn't feel like playing because he was already scared. This enraged his friend, and Raul would wake up with scratches, bruises, and even bite marks on his arm. His mother noticed something was happening and asked him what was going on. Raul confessed about this friend, and his mother decided to install security cameras in the house to see who was harming her son at night, and to verify why she felt like someone was walking around the house while everyone slept. Things kept getting worse. Raul started seeing a creepy hand sometimes coming out from under his bed, or he would see glowing eyes in the darkness. This made him scream at night, and his mother would rush to help him. His little sister was also affected, as she would sometimes wake up injured without anyone being able to do anything. Apparently, only Raul was able to see his friend. "Please, leave us alone. I won't play with you anymore. Leave my mother and sister in peace. Don't hurt them," Raul would say. However, every time the count was heard, something bad would happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was the signal that only he could hear, indicating that either he or his family would be harmed. One night, everyone was asleep, but Raul woke up suddenly and saw a dark figure standing at the door of his room. He felt intense fear, but couldn't move a muscle. He could only watch as the figure slowly made its way to his sister's room. Then he heard the count from 1 to 10, and his blood ran cold as he saw this sinister figure attacking his sister, unable to help her. It then moved to his mother's room, counted again, and killed his mother. Raul could only hear her screams as she begged, "Please, don't do it." The shadow approached Raul, who was petrified, and covered him in darkness. The next day, when the police entered the house, they found the bodies of Raul's mother and little sister. They were mutilated, and something deeply disturbing was that the numbers 1 to 10 were carved into their bodies with a knife. Despite searching for Raul, he was nowhere to be found. He had disappeared. The police then reviewed the security camera footage and located the father since he was the only remaining family member. Upon the father's arrival at the police station, he was visibly affected by the death of his ex-wife and daughter, as well as the disappearance of his son. He was called in to view the footage, and to everyone's astonishment and terror, they saw Raul entering his sister's room, counting to 10, and then murdering her with a knife. He proceeded to carve the numbers into her body. Raul's movements seemed strange, but there was no doubt that it was him. He then went to his mother's room, where he pleaded with him, "Please don't do it." But he ultimately killed her as well. He stood motionless, gazing at his mother's lifeless body for more than 20 minutes, before leaving the house without a clear direction. The father, devastated and realizing that his son had mental issues, possibly stemming from some trauma, shed tears. All he could do was return home and wait for the police to find his disturbed son. That night, as the father lay in his room, he was unable to fall asleep. He couldn't get the image out of his head, of his son counting to 10 and killing his family as if it were a game. But something interrupted his pain. He heard footsteps in the darkness, approaching his room. Joy momentarily flooded him as he saw that it was Raoul, his lost son. "My God, Raoul, where have you been? What happened? Don't be afraid, son. Come. I'll take care of you." The joy filled him for a brief moment, because then his blood ran cold once again as he saw his son staring at him, holding a large knife in his hand, and he whispered in a macabre tone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.